Good evening, everyone. I have three piles here: pile number one, pile number two, pile number three, and we are looking at what is my spiritual purpose. I'm having real difficulty actually speaking tonight because it's the evening. In the morning, I can speak loads of crap very quickly, but in the evening, it's harder. So I'm going to try and slow down and not talk so much tosh. So if you want to pick number one, number two, or number three, and we'll get started. Okay, number one. I have looked at these cards before, but to be honest, I might actually pick those, turn those over at the end, see how the spread goes, and then to see if it adds a little bit to you at the end, which I know is vice versa to what normally happens. But I know what they are, so I'll turn them over at the end to see if it gives you any more of an inkling of what your purpose is. So let's have a look at your spiritual purpose. I was going to do a relationship reading, decided against it today, just to add a little bit of something different. Okay. I'm going to be to look at the cards a little bit more and do less shouting. Okay, to me, this screams of somebody who you're not particularly at this very moment. This is just readings in general, not going I'm just going to talk as I see it as a whole. Somebody at the moment who's not very happy with the way that their life has led them up till now. Not because they've had an unhappy life, but because they're not really getting out of it what they feel they should. There's feelings of almost like anxiety and thoughts that go over and over in your head, and you've got to a point where you have in the past, and I wonder whether it's to do with the state of the way things are at the moment, and people are looking more inward on what they want to do because you've either had a break or a time out of your routine to actually think a bit more. So at this time in your life, you might actually be stopping and thinking, actually, how I've been chugging along up until now is not really what I had intended. If you could make a decision before you came to Earth, and you had a little book and you wrote down what you wanted to do, you would have got to the feeling, probably over the last few weeks, that I am not doing what makes me feel good. And this situation is as if you need to act on it. I'm not saying that you should act on it, I'm just saying this is how you're feeling. There's some way that you feel that you need to communicate what you want. So I don't know if you've got a job and you feel the need to basically to say this is what you do like, this is what you don't like, but your thoughts at the moment are probably of ending something. Either they're the thoughts of doing this extremely quickly, and even it's almost like aggression behind this. It's like a sadness and an aggression behind it, and a need to do something quick. And I've got a funny feeling it's to do with work. As if you're either work or as if it's some sort of skill that you wish that you had attained, and now you're actually having time to stop and think about it. You want to go perhaps back to college, perhaps learn something different or do something different with yourself, because you've got to the point now you've thought, actually no, this isn't what I want to do, and you're weighing up what your choices now. You've not had the time to think about this before, but you've sort of got to a point you think, oh, actually now I'm just going down this path is not what I want. It's not actually making me feel fulfilled. And I think what might actually make you feel fulfilled is a need to have more control in your life and to do something for yourself, something more independent. Now it's strange that this card here has come up at the end, because I know what these cards are here. And this card here is basically, it's like a very male, when I'm trying to get my fingers like this, it's a very sort of male card. It's very authoritative, and it's like Big Daddy card to me. It's somebody who says how things are done, and this to me is the, if you think that that times are changing, or some people believe that times are changing, and we've also, like, we've had, you know, a more patriarchal society where we've basically been told what to do and given rules, and you know, anything that's seen as quite gentle, or I mean, like the NHS at the moment, you know, half ignored, all the caring professions, and now at the moment they've come out on top. So it's almost as if this here is disappearing. So this is your end project. This is what you're going to end up with, and this is organised. It's powerful, and it's strong, and it's masculine. But your cards here, which I might show you in a minute, are not that. So there's some way that you have come to an end with how you're living your life, and you want to make changes to it. And you're going to make these changes in a very sort of proficient, organised, and what is typically seen as a masculine, I don't believe this, a masculine way. Now I'm going to reveal these cards here, because these cards actually say that you probably, as a person, that doesn't ring true with you, but you might have had your past honing these skills, and it's something that you can bring into the forefront now. Because the cards that sum you up and the energy that you have at the moment, this is the Lemurian era, and it basically talks about the feminine principle of things like peace and compassion, and that is probably something that's very important to you that you may not have lived up until now, but that might be part of your past if you believe in past lives. You know, you probably had quite a spiritual life, and were interested in things like mysticism, and you've not had the chance to bring these things to the forefront. So all these, I'm not saying you're going to become a priest or whatever, or a priestess, is that a female version? I don't know. But basically this, you've decided where you are is not where you want to be. And now your past life bits that you're bringing through into this life are quite feminine, they're quite spiritual, they're quite sort of relaxed, they're quite enlightened, really. And that's what you need to bring forth in your life now, but you need to do it in such a way that you might have practiced in your past career in a more masculine way. So you need to be organised, you need to use your skills to get whatever you want to do out there. This card here is Eye on a Virtue, so it basically says that you are a very, to me this is like the Justice card or the Temperance card, where in your life not only do you honour gentleness and compassion, but you also honour people who are fair and honest. And the combination of these three here, if you have this combination, so if these are like past lives and things you've brought with you, and your end card here is Emperor, that's quite a potent concoction to bring forward, because you have the gentleness, you have the need for peace, and you're probably very compassionate, very understanding, very sensitive, and very interested in spirituality. But you need to bring this forward in a way that's not basically sitting at home with a purple tablecloth and doing tarot cards. What you basically need to do is to bring that forward for other people. Bring the not necessarily something that is spiritual, but those qualities into whatever you want to do. These qualities, to combine them with whatever you want to do, and this will probably be a change from what you're doing now in some way or other. But I'm not saying you're not going to bring the skills with you that you've learned in this life forward to help you. But I do see you worrying about where you are at the moment, and it's not feeling fulfilled. There's like this sort of a spiritual emptiness, and almost like a defensiveness, because when you're not yourself, you can't really relax with other people, and you don't really like other people who are being themselves, because it makes you a little bit threatened. I'm not saying that's what you do, but that's what people do. And so somewhere your life at the moment is going to change, and you're either going to have some fast action to make that change, or something is going to happen, and I think it's work orientated, where you'll actually think of this decision. But you have got such a lot to bring through. If you can bring this forward in a way that basically you are Big Daddy Boss, but you have, while you're doing these things, you have the kindness and the compassion and the understanding of how people function and how to bring the best out of people without hurting them, which people in positions of power a lot of the time in the past have not been able to do. The higher people tend to climb up the ladder, the more they tend to misuse their power. But the people who are looking at this, there must be something inside you that is quite strong spiritually that you can bring forth in a way that benefits other people. I don't know whether you've been had companies, or whether you've been in a position where you've had authority over the people, and now you know from watching how things work, how people work, how you can actually help other people. Because there's something really kind, it's like a Pisces energy, it's very warm, it's very compassionate, and it's a strong need for you to be balanced and to balance other people, to make things equal. So it's not basically, when you see people in the world who are very I keep saying masculine, I don't mean men, because I've got so many female friends that are masculine, but are very masculine in the way that they are go-getters, but almost as if they're trampling over people. Or if you're too effeminate, you're too basically wet, that you don't do anything. It's that sort of dreamy floppy jellyfish, but it's just like meeting halfway, so you know what you want to do and you're organised and you're direct about it, but there's almost also that feminine part of you which brings the heart into it. And I hope that helps you, because I don't know particularly which way you're going, because it doesn't tell me anything about a particular job, although I would guess that if you've organised people, or you've been like a boss or something where you've had people under you, and that's what you're good at, you'd be good at getting groups together. But that's the general feeling I get from that, which tends to be more feelings about where you're going than giving specifics about areas of life, which I didn't pick up from that, but just generally very strong feelings. Okay, I hope that helps. Right. Pile number 2. Okay, what I'm going to do, pile number 2, is I'm just looking at the notes I've made on your cards, because I've read them before, because I don't read these very often, but they're really good cards, and I've forgotten how good they were, so I've just rooted them out again. Okay. Oh yeah, I like that one. Okay, so I'm going to leave those upside down. I'm going to read those to you at the end. I'm going to see your spread on what is your spiritual purpose, and then I'm going to flick them over and see if it makes more sense to you. So I know what's under there. What's your spiritual purpose? I need these ones. What's your spiritual purpose? And I think quite a few people, because you've had, I can't shuffle cards. Let me just do it like I normally do it. Quite a few people, because they've had time to think at the moment with the way that things are going. Some of these are upside down, but I won't read them upside down. Are questioning themselves a little bit more. So I thought this might be quite a good spread today. As I normally do relationship spreads because everybody likes a bit of love. But both is needed. Right, your spiritual purpose. Okay, let's go. I'm going to talk a bit slow and look at the cards a bit more today, because it's evening. I don't tend to think very fast in the evening, so I need to look to get out of them what's going on. your spiritual purpose is, at the moment, I've got the general feeling that you are quite, I'll go through each card bit by bit so it all comes out and hopefully comes together. At the moment, you feel as if you are not where you want to be because you feel tied to something that you think is not serving you spiritually. It could be financial, it could be a relationship, it could be anything. It could be a mortgage, it could be a car, you hide a car or something, and you feel that you are not being the best that you possibly can. You have a strong need to work. You might have a lot of earth in you where you have a strong need to do things practical every day. So if you're basically cut off at the moment, that's probably not what is making you happy. You probably need to be doing something all the time. You're probably very good with your hands. You probably work very well with your hands. At the moment, you feel as if you need to make some change to your situation. As if in the past, everything that you have come up in your life has come to some sort of ending, where it's not that you feel so unfulfilled with this, but you do feel as if you're ready to take the next step to move to where you want to be. And you've done quite well up until now. You've wrapped things up, and it's time to make that next move. I also feel in the past that apart from feeling tied to things, you may also have felt as if you need to always defend your position. If this is probably in a work situation, so whatever job you have had up until now, you almost might feel as if that's completed, or some side in your life, if it's not career or studies, it has just completed itself, and you want to feel that feeling of being relaxed, where you're not always defending yourself and always trying to keep your head above water. As if, well, it's just like you're treading water all the time, and you're always just trying to keep your head above. So, for you to feel fulfilled, you need to possibly be doing something practical and something that is still going to make you feel financially secure. Because if you've got all that earth energy and you don't feel secure, that you're not going to actually be able to progress and feel relaxed to progress inside yourself. So there's something that you need to be doing where you're learning a skill, even if you've had that feeling of moving on in your life, you still need to do something that makes you feel good about the way that you do things practically. So it's either learning a skill, it's either studying, and there's no rush to do this, but it's something for you to get where you want to in your life. This is what you're going to have to do. You might even have to retrain, to look at perhaps courses, or just to do something with your hands, or learn a skill that makes you feel good about yourself. At the moment, there's almost like a feeling as if, see these two cards, that's you and that's your past that's going away. So you have actually felt as if you're like defending yourself, and this card here as if you're holding on to a heavy burden. And these two cards here, this one's passing out of the way, these two cards here are almost as if you're progressing very slowly but making practical steps to do something. And it's almost as if it's like learning a skill. It's like it could be studying, but it's something that is quite not well trained. It's like a craftsmanship. It could be even something like a hobby, and you're doing something like fixing cars or working in the garden, but something quite grounded where you're using your hands, and that's what's going to make you feel good about yourself. So for you to feel spiritually fulfilled, it's not a case of sitting around and perhaps doing astrology charts. It's not a case of doing tarot cards. For you to feel that, you're going to need to feel involved physically with things. And you might, to do this, you might almost have to take a different tact, where people might expect you or rely on you for certain things like financial obligations that you may have. And you might almost, because you feel like you've got to keep doing this, or you've got to, everybody's got to pay the rent, blah, blah, blah. But you might feel as if you're going to have to basically chip away slowly, take a different tact, almost like a sneaky way round to making yourself feel more fulfilled. Something that you want to do is what you need to do, but it's involving something practical. And you're quite scared to make this decision. This might be what's weighing upon you at the moment. And that's how you're defending yourself. Say if people rely on you, or you've got a certain job which could be very, like high standing, you feel in yourself it's come to an end. And to make this decision, it's not going to be easy. So for you to go the way to feel as if you are fulfilled, this decision is not going to be easy, but you're going to have to basically spill some milk to get there. You're going to have to upset some people, but in the end, at the end of, this sounds really bad, but at the end of your life, you're going to want to know that you've done your best to make yourself fulfilled in a balanced way. That still, you're still caring for those people around you that rely. You're still paying your rent. But there's certain ways you can do that slightly, bit by bit. Is it softly, monkey? Like that. Just to get what you want to do to make yourself feel fulfilled. Now these cards here. Are the cards of this card here is cards I haven't had out quite well, but I really do like them, is based on different eras, supposed eras in our history, like past history, if you're an ET. If you're an ET. But either way, the symbolism behind them is that the people that lived in these times were very mystical. So they were the type of people who basically were very feminine and reconnected with the energy of femininity and spirituality. And I'm trying to think of like all those people that do. You might actually be interested in martial arts, that type of thing. So if it's something that's really important to you, that could tell you that this might be the right card for you. It's people who are inside themselves very, very mystical, and they almost like to have a practice. It's not like I'm mystical and I live it every day, as in what I do, which is different ways of living spirituality or mysticism. It's somebody who would have had a sort of, not religious, structured practice of spirituality, like meditation, or perhaps you're interested in Kundalini yoga or something like that, or like Tai Chi. If this is you, then this is definitely your correct pile. It's saying that you're a certain somebody who follows your inner guidance. So you use all these different faculties, I suppose, to guide yourself. So you're probably very intuitive. You've probably got great imagination, and probably very good at perceiving people and using intuition to find out who people are. So that's probably the combination of both of these. Somebody, especially with these cards here, who's quite structured. So you're spiritually quite structured. So for you to move forward and to find out what's your spiritual purpose, because I can't actually tell you what your purpose is from these cards, but I can tell you how you will find out for yourself. You need to do this in a structured way, not just like a Pisces, just like things flow through you and you get flashes of intuition. You're somebody that needs to sit down, meditate, find out what makes you feel good. And what makes you feel good is not thrashing around in life, probably trying to earn mega bucks. We don't actually have bucks anyway. I said that. I'm called Buck. But doing something that you love, that's the hands-on and has some meaning to it. You've just quite a sort of, the feeling I get from this is very sort of earthy, Taurus, calm, practical, and you're probably quite good in a calm way of expressing your spirituality. So you're probably somebody who speaks quite fluently about it. And people probably get that from you when they're talking to you. So to sum you up, I'll go through the cards very briefly. To sum you up, you are somebody who is inside themselves probably very gentle, but actually you appear quite earthy to people, as in you might appear very practical, but you're one of those people who are very kind and also quite feminine in some ways, but I don't get the impression that you look feminine. If you're a man, you don't look feminine. If you're a woman, you're probably one of those people who look quite like a Taurus, or darker eyes, bigger lips, that sort of empress feeling about you. And let's go back to these cards. So at the moment, you feel as if you are tired and basically swimming upstream. You feel like you're at the end of something and it's time to move on, but you don't want to flash into something and move into something like the last pile who are probably going to jump into something. You're somebody who wants to, almost like a hobby or something that makes you feel good, where you're using your hands or learning a skill. You're going to start making moves towards that, and that's going to make you feel more fulfilled. So I can't actually speak, so it's easier when it's fast. What has happened in the past has not made you feel good, and you are going to find a new way where you basically sneak into what you want to get out of your life, and it's going to upset other people, because financially you might have to take a hit, or something's going to change, and it's because they got used to it, and it's not going to happen easily. That you're going to get there, it'll be fine, but you'll also feel as if you've lost something, or you've had to have a bit of a fight to get there. And when you get there, you're going to feel more at ease, because you've got this feeling of feeling content in what you're doing. And what you need to do to get there is to try and bring out your spiritual aspects in yourself, not just flowing through you, as I said, like a Pisces, but you need to do it in a structured fashion where you're basically doing martial arts, doing your yoga, doing your you're meditating, and that's the way that you're going to move forward. Practical steps in a calm and sort of giving, loving way. And I mean giving and loving to yourself, because you're going to get there, you're going to feel good, you're going to feel it's right, but you've had a bit of a battle and you've tied that up, and it's not going to go away, but I feel that you've still got to do that yourself anyway, for yourself. Okay, that's quite a strange one to talk about, because it's not as if it had an end, because this is your end card. So I'm looking for something to tell me how you're going to get there, and all this card was saying to me is that you're going to get there, but you've got to tie up things. You've got to basically let a few things go, and it might upset people around you, but what you really need to do is you need to bring these out of yourself. You know, this card here is the card of the priest or priestess. So in your past life, you possibly had very, very spiritual foundations, and you'll probably trained yourself in a very structured way, and that's going to make you feel good if you start nudging back to that again. And you've got to follow your inner guidance. So if you're meditating, you can use your imagination and your perception and your intuition so that you know where you're going, because I can't answer that for you. I can tell you how you can get there, but with these cards here, you're going to be the best person you can tell yourself. Get yourself a journal, meditate, or do your Tai Chi until things will come to you that will make you feel good. I don't know Tai Chi, whatever martial arts you do, if that's what you do. It would be really interesting for me to know if that's what you do, whether that fits or not. Anyway, good luck. Okay. Pie. Sorry, the battery went. Battery didn't go, mine just clicked off. Now I go through these cards slowly. So your spiritual purpose. Oh yeah, I've just remembered your cards. Your cards are the best at the whole 3 piles. Certain sort of energy in those cards, which was quite interesting. I'll tell you about more as they come out, but it will make more sense as I do the pile what your actual cards were. Yeah, these, okay, I'm expecting this to be interesting. Okay, this is you at the moment. Okay, my first thoughts while looking at these is from these cards here, which are my hidden cards. The way that you are living your life at the moment and the way that you are heading is not going to make you feel happy until you realise more about yourself. So at the moment, you're probably quite a strong person. You're normally quite good at achieving. You're probably one of those people who look like they're in control to other people, and people are quite envious of you. You've got quite a strong will, and you're probably one of those people as well who is financially stable. You might have a lovely house. You might wear nice clothes, but basically, people look at you and think you're successful, as if you've got what you want, got what you need, and you're in control of your life. Okay, behind you is also that feeling of, it's like a bit of a, these aren't strength cards, but to me they've got a strong feeling. It's somebody who lives their life from I say balance, but an equal, what's the word, when you're quite just with people, and you're quite just with people, that will do. So it's somebody who, this is a bit of an inkling to these. So somebody, yes, okay, I'm liking this. These two cards are you, what you're bringing into your life at the moment, and basically what you've had or you've pulled forth in your life. And these cards to me mirror these cards here, which is where you need to go now. So I'm guessing you are somebody who is very strong-willed, very in control of yourself. You are very fair, and you're not scared to end or start things, even if you're going to upset people. So these are very, very, I'm getting a very, very, very strong feeling from here, from these. I find this reading is quite exciting to me because it relates to somebody I'm reading about at the moment. And the way that you're going from this strength that's behind you to the way that you're going, yes, you've got ideas, you've got thoughts there, and you're quite mature and you're making practical steps towards them. And you're feeling quite content in your life. You're feeling as if everything's in control, but you're almost feeling as if your life has tied you down in some way, and spiritually that's not making you feel content. What you've got, to me, is you've got everything. You look really good from the outside. You know, you are just somebody who's very strong. You've got, you possibly got a family life. You've got a beautiful home. All your clothes, there's something about you, and people see, they think you've got everything sussed. And there's no but with this, but you haven't. I'm not going to say that. And behind, there's a strength behind you, which is, you don't give a crap sort of strength, that you are extremely fair. You probably frighten people. You're probably those people that just basically call other people out. Call it taekwondo does. I have a feeling that you actually fear convention and conventional situations. Your life is mulling along, and I don't get the impression that because of this, the impact that these cards have, because these are really strong cards, that your life is mulling along in contentment, and it's beautiful and it's good, but you feel as if you want that little bit more. You've probably got, I would say that you are in a very, very strong family unit, who are very supportive to you. So change, if you fancy making changes in your life to make you feel more content, you will be able to pull on the people around you in a positive way. Well, last pile number 2, I've got a funny feeling they might upset the people around them if they move onwards. So, but everything you've got at the moment, you've got to a point where you're feeling it's tying you. all the things that you've made in your life up until now, as beautiful as they are and as perfect as your life does seem to be, because it really does seem to be perfect, it is not making you still want something else. You want that something else. Now I'm going to pull over these cards here, which these cards talk about energy, and this one particularly is a really interesting energy, because it's like, I don't know, I don't watch Star Trek. Please, I do not watch Star Trek. And this, is it Jedi Knights? This is almost like an energy of the Jedi Knights. So there's something where people have been, there's two polarities like pushing against each other, which is probably the way that we're feeling at the moment. So say it's like a more masculine energy, which has been in our lives in the past, and there's like a feminine energy coming in, whether you're male or female. You know, people tend to basically go towards one or the other, and they never meet in the middle. Now these people here decided when there was something I'm saying this as if it's true, I have no idea, but it's just symbolic really. These people here decided that they were oppressed, and so what actually happened is they went underground and they formed their own league, which was based on mysticism. I'm thinking June here, and I have read the book, can't remember it. That type of feeling when you're oppressed and think, yeah, wasn't it about water, and the government took all their water, so they had to wear sweatsuits, and they went underground, and basically they formed a resistance. So this is your energy, and at the moment, I don't feel that you're living this. You're a strong person, and I don't feel at the moment that you're living this almost rebellious energy, and it's probably something that's eating away at you. Your life probably is quite bound and I don't say this in a negative way, because all our lives are, but your life is quite bound, quite tight. Everybody's bound to mortgages, I don't know, whatever. And it's the way you have chosen, the way it's probably fine. Don't change that. But you've got to find an outlet for you to be that slightly rebellious, to go out against the grain a little bit. Because at the moment, you're feeling slightly discontent with the way things are. And these way things have developed in your life is just absolutely perfect for the way that you've intended it to be. And to me, your life seems as if you've got it sussed. You seem really content and really mature and grounded, but there's that feeling there's a little bit more. That feeling of being slightly discontent. So I can't tell you, which I found from reading all these parts, I can't tell you what is your spiritual purpose. I can just tell you how to get it out of yourself. So to get out your spiritual purpose is to acknowledge the beauty and the support that you have in your life and how perfect it is, but to acknowledge that you need that little bit more, and you need that little bit more to go a little bit against the grain and not worry about what people think. This here is almost like a slight warning card. Dun, dun, dun. And if you start to develop this energy where you are having a look at yourself and realising what you want out of life, and you're going to basically pull out this energy out of yourself to make sure that whatever you do or whatever you say, you've got to always make sure that people's feelings are, you always keep an eye on people's feelings, because of the strength of your energy could be quite, if your family have lived this life along with you, and you don't want to make abrupt changes, and you need to basically talk your truth, to say where you want to go with compassion. So make the changes, don't fear it, take it in small steps until you get where you want to go, because what you have got is perfect. Don't throw it away, but work on something inside yourself, which is, I'm going to say, is quite Aquarius, if you are Aquarian, quite Uranus, where you are doing something for yourself that is slightly different. There's like this is like people who went inside themselves and meditated and developed their own spiritual practices. They basically made up their spiritual practices and was supposed to be I'm making this up, I'm not making this up really, the forefathers of like Eastern mysticism. And that might be something that interests you. And you have got probably in yourself the strength and the organisation to do that yourself. So decide what you want to do, but go inside yourself and find out what you want to do. You've got everything outside of yourself perfectly attuned, so you need to go inside yourself. Find some sort of something that really interests you. You know, if you're interested in Buddhism, I don't know, or that sort of leaning towards that meditation. I don't really know anything about meditations from that side of the world. Yeah, Buddhism and that type of, what came before Buddhism? I can't remember. That's where you need to go. That's where you need to look in, so you can look inside yourself and find out exactly what you need to do. But always, because of your strong character, make sure that you treat other people with this, which is you, with compassion and kindness, and make sure that you speak with good intent, because I bet there's quite a strong, I bet you're quite a strong person to contend with. And if you're dissatisfied, you might not be the person that keeps it to yourself. So you've got quite rebellious energy to you, which is really nice. And you just have to channel that. I don't know much about Buddhism. So you need to perhaps look into those sort of religions to find out something that clicks with you. It will definitely be the more Eastern religions with this card. Okay, right, I'm going to stop there. I hope that helps. I know it doesn't tell you what your spiritual purpose is, and you're not, to be honest, been able to tell anybody from the 3 piles. All it's actually led me to be able to tell you is how to get that out of yourself, which will be more meaningful than me telling you something which you might forget as soon as you flick on to something else. So if you're actually looking into yourself, it's going to, you know, if you feel an inkling of something feels right, then you need to start looking into it. So I would definitely look for Buddhism, martial arts, Kundalini yoga, that sort of thing, to find out where meditations, where you want to be going. What's going to bring the best out of yourself. Okay, I hope that helps. If it does, hit the subscribe button and make sure I'll try and get one up every 1 or 2 days if I can, depending where I am. Okay. Bye. Jedi Knight.